Oh, hey, top of the morning, y'all. It is Jared Walker right here, if you don't know my name, and welcome to another super sonic morning momentum session. Listen, this is a show that's gonna go and grow you every single day that you wake up with purpose attached to your life. Whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. I will go as far as to say it was assigned to your life. The question is, are you ready to unmute yourself so the world can know your story and you can literally get your glory? But let's start with this right here this morning. Woo, plugins. Yeah, we about to get it right. I know it's early. I still got my morning voice on right now. It's super early. But at the end of the day, here we are. And we here. We alive. You got life in your body. You got breath in your lungs. You still here, fam? Listen, let's get it. So look, I understand that every single day comes with challenges, right? And I remember there was a point in my life where I would have to wake up every single night and go to work and work and work. Yeah, you thought I was going to say morning? No, I remember waking up at night to get up and go produce trucks. I used to produce Escalades, Tahoes, Suburbans, Denali's, all of that stuff. And it's crazy because it's not that far behind me, yet it's such a pivotal part of my life because while I was producing these six-figure vehicles, these six-figure Escalades where people are paying all of this money, I was growing this right here. I was developing this right here. There were so many people who used to always complain and complain and complain. And I was like, listen, we gonna be here 10 hours. I'm about to learn something today. What you talking about? I'm about to learn something. And one of the very things that I was learning was the skill that pays the bills. Whew. I remember being on that assembly line, constantly building myself up. I was building me. So while I was producing trucks, I was also producing music. As a fact, I would literally be producing music while producing the trucks. So while I'm building this Escalade, I'm over here building a multi-million-dollar music business in my mind because at the end of the day, I still had to learn and design my life according to the plan that I had. And that plan was to not be in that place forever. There's no possible way you can be somewhere that's making multi-billion dollars and you think that you're limited to only working for them. Now, granted, my plans didn't go the way that I expected. Oh, no. I definitely didn't. And the reason I am no longer there is mainly because God said it was time up. My time was up. And I ran into a real humbling reality. And that reality is this. I got sick. And there's this thing called the law of vitality. It goes, whenever your health is good, everything matters. But when your health is compromised, only one thing matters. And that is getting healthy again, getting well again. Well, for me personally, when that only one thing mattered, it became very apparent of the 2 or 3 or 4 things that also matter just as much. So yes, I was definitely somebody who was developing these six-figure vehicles and producing them. Meanwhile, my home was a place of wealth, not because of finances, but because this is where everything happens. See, everyone doesn't have the same situation. I have a wife and 3 children, but maybe that's not your case. Maybe that is. But maybe the reason that you don't feel fulfilled at times is because what needs to be healed at home. See, when you get focused on the perspectives that matter the most, you find yourself producing things that you didn't even know you were capable of. See, I woke up this morning realizing that I got up with only a little bit of sleep. However, the time that I got up was right on time for my daughter to come into the room scared because it was a hailing storm going on outside. It's like, oh man, I just so happened to wake up and be present whenever I was needed. And the beauty behind all of that is, no matter what the storm is, everybody needs somebody with a perspective that is higher than their own. Because if you don't know that you can get through this storm with someone, you'll never understand why you don't have to do it alone. See, the perspective that I used to have was I had to do everything by myself. I had to learn by myself. I had to earn by myself. I had to grow by myself. I had to understand things all by myself. But then one of them things I took away, one of the principles I took away from the very system that I had learned with those six-figure vehicles like the Escalades, the Tahoes, the Denali's, and all of that stuff was every person has a role to play, and each part matters. If you disconnect yourself from a system that actually works, that means you need to reconnect yourself to the system that actually promotes your health and healing. Because to be healthy is to be whole, but to need healing means you need to be made whole again. So when something is unhealthy, it is inevitable that you will feel the impact. You will feel the effects sooner rather than later. In some cases, you don't realize you've grown numb to the pain. You feel it, but you kind of just used to it. It's like, it's whatever. But the reality is, something is going to happen in your life that requires you to gain the perspective of whatever the situation you're in right now. Let's not overlook it so that we can get everything that we need out of this season in our lives in this moment. Whatever situation you're in, it's like, listen, this is just a stepping stone. This is just a part of the process. Nah, no, 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 no. It's not just a stepping stone. This is a milestone in your life, and the opportunity that you have to gain and grow from this right here, whatever that this is for you. While it was for me, while I was on that assembly line, I was taking advantage. I was taking advantage. I used to work at GM, at General Motors, and I call it GM University because while I was assembling and producing trucks, I was also producing music. I was also producing my mind. I was also producing my perspective. I took advantage of the opportunities I had to grow and to learn. I mean, where else are you going to give about 8 to 10 hours to actually invest into your mind other than being in school? Nah, it don't work that way. So what I ended up doing was I found myself getting intentional about my growth because it wasn't something I wanted to waste time not doing. And shoot, when I understood that there are things that I could do while I was there, mm, I realized there is a principle to take from it. Just because you're working somewhere doing something you don't want to do right now, you don't feel like doing this, you feel like this is beneath you, you feel like you are above it, you feel like this is not who I am. Well, wait a minute. What if the person that you are meant to be is required to go through this process? What if where you are is where you need to be because there's gold there? You just have to learn to discern it. Yeah, you can earn your money, but you can also earn your purpose. The fruit that is useful for you where you're at is literally there just for you. Don't overlook it. I was producing trucks and music at the same time while producing a mindset that was going to help me whenever I got sick. And when my health became compromised, I was already prepared to make the shifts. Prepared because why? I had already been through enough to understand you ain't new to this. You true to this. Or what about you? How many times have you found yourself in situations that you didn't want to be in, but you got through them? And then you look backwards, you're like, you know what? I'm so glad that I overcame that. And I'm so glad I went through what I went through. But what about the things that you gained from it? Don't run from the opportunity to grow. Oh, no, 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 no. You better than that, fam. You have every opportunity in front of you to gain every gem, every piece of gold, every treasure that is worth your time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in it. It's right there. Take hold of it. Grasp it. Get it. It's yours. It belongs to you. Don't let nobody rob you of your opportunity to grow just because they're causing you to see things a certain type of way. When I used to work in that place, oh my goodness, I used to hear complaining every single day. But when I realized that, listen, you don't got to do this, you get to do this. But what else comes with this opportunity? Because there is never one side to anything. There's two sides to everything at least. So if there's room for complaining, then there's room for praise. What you gonna do? I'm gonna praise the Lord. I'm gonna praise the Lord for the fact that I got life in my body, breath in my lungs, and mobility in my limbs, and I can go and do exactly what it is I decide to do. I don't have to do anything. I choose to. And when you recognize that this is your power, when you recognize that this is your ability, when you recognize that these are your skills that you get to cultivate, when you recognize this is your time that you own, when you recognize that moment you got up out that bed and went to that place to work, that's what? That was you deciding to do that. Nobody made you do it. You did what you felt like you needed to do. But nobody made you do that. That's your power. That's your ability. That's your skill. That's your time. That means all of these things that you have acquired from your past is able to be useful for the perspective that you have right now. And that perspective is so useful because it is exactly what has caused you to be fruitful. You've been called to be fruitful, fam. God gave you an ability to do so many different things, and you have time to develop all of that you need to develop with the perspective that you get from being where you were to being where you are. Listen, from six-figure vehicles to multi-million dollar perspectives. I've been in a room with individuals who are so phenomenal. Yes, money is amazing, but the best thing about it all was I was there with my family. In the places I got to go and be with my family, that was my true legacy. That was the true wealth. And that is the reason why I get to do the things that I get to do now because of what I got to do in the past. So it's amazing how you have opportunities right here. Don't let nobody rob you of the truth. The truth sets you free. Therefore, a lie sets you up. Don't let nobody rob you of the truth. I'll say it again. The truth sets you free. Therefore, a lie sets you up. And if you have been believing a lie, then you have the opportunity right now to start focusing on the truth. And what is the truth? You still here. You got this, fam. I know it's early. You're probably like, why is Jared up on 10 like this? Because I care about the valuable people that need to hear these words. If I don't unmute myself, you won't be healed. There are people who need to hear what you have to say. And it is only on the other side of your words, the fruit of your lips, that they can finally begin to be healed. They can finally begin to be made whole. They can finally begin to understand that there's a perspective outside of the one that they have right now. And if I don't get intentional about opening up my mouth and unmuting myself to let you know that you got this, you might walk around thinking you don't. You might need that reminder. Well, the word says encourage one another every day as long as it is called today. And I used to get so caught up on, oh, well, it's got to look this way and it's got to be done this way and I got to say it that way. And I realized nobody cares. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I unmute myself. If I have the perspective of someone who went from six-figure production on trucks and vehicles, then I definitely am somebody now who has a multi-million dollar perspective on life. And if I can help anybody with the truth and understanding it, this is how wealth and health are all brought together. See, your legacy matters. Your legacy is your life examples gained after considering yesterday or considering you. So when you look in the mirror and you see who you see, that's a limited perspective, fam. Limited perspectives will always produce unlimited assumptions. However, an unlimited perspective will at the very least produce an accurate understanding. With that being said, don't get so caught up in the mirror that the perspective that you have of you is the only one that you get. You got to unmute yourself and you'll find out the value of the perspectives that you held and had because of what you've gone through. And there are so many people that you can literally transform the lives of if you simply tell them your perspective. It's your story, it's your history. More on that at another time. Outside of that, much love, y'all. Y'all stay focused. Remember, you got this. You got this. Stay focused. You got this. Y'all take care.